talk about how many accidents, like, well,
I think with
they
the
have.
nursing programs
how they,
anymore with
I didn't realize until I
college,
started
I
coming to
don't
these
think they
meetings.
do, because
They
they
actually
really
have trucks
basically-
that are there to absorb impacts and things like that. And that's what they were talking about. Yeah, and I was
Sure, they
like,
participate.
I can't believe that those things exist. A, and B, that they get hit.
Work off Christians.
We had 30 of them.
Yeah,
Something
whatever.
like that.
in St. Louis
I know.
last year.
Right, and that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
Put the phone down and do all this other stuff, and I'm like,
We're getting
We're
close.
ready, Bill.
Gina, we're close, aren't we? All right, can we come to attention? This is Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee. It is Monday, February 28th, 2022. Call to order. Roll call.
Craig Miller,
here.
Ed Fisher, Stephen O'Connor,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg,
Here.
Bob Ingeman,
Here.
Bill Stratman.
Here.
Mayor Lucy, Joe Holtmeyer.
Here.
Danny Cassett,
Here.
Aubrey Eckelkamp,
Here.
Bill Miller,
Here.
Tim Brinker, Steve Solentrop,
Here.
John Nilgis.
Here.
Please stand. I Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hopefully the beginning of our spring, huh?
Yeah.
All right, first item on the agenda is always the approval of the minutes from the January 31st meeting. Wow, it's almost a book.
It was a long one. I'll make that motion.
I have a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Lots to read in there, lots of stuff. Amtrak, Craig, fire away.
I don't have any report today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we talked through a lot of stuff last month. I hope we have a,
I told Mr. Frankenberg before the meeting that I'm still looking into some of those numbers he was looking for Union Pacific and traffic here, and I didn't get any answers, so maybe next time.
very good.
I appreciate you bringing it up, looking into it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, there was talk of that at the chamber. One of the, forget who actually brought it up, the congressman or whatever, about Amtrak and the monies. Do you remember, Tim, do you remember who brought up the Amtrak? Somebody did. At the chamber event.
That was one of the questions that was asked.
That was one of the questions. I'm
General
sorry,
question.
you're right. That's what it was.
At the government forum thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I was unable to attend.
Yeah, that's good. And I don't remember what the,
They're still going one direction each way.
one direction each way.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Next item, Highway 47 Bridge. John, anything new?
No, we did receive just a message from one of the citizens that lives next to the bridge that the lights were working, facing east, I guess. So they were, and they looked to be working correctly. So I don't know what it looks like facing west at this time, but I know Tim and MoDOT's team is still working with the general contractor to get a schedule to just change out a couple of those programming boxes and whatnot. So.
And like I said last time, they're pretty close to being
Yeah.
functional. It's just a couple smaller issues that they need to take care of.
And there is that period where it has to work continuously. I think it was 10 days continuously before it gets, MoDOT accepts it, and then there's a formal process where that gets transferred over to the city for future maintenance.
So John, basically when it's turned on permanently, the lights will go on, what, at a specific time, dusk or something?
Yeah, I think it was a half hour before dusk, and then I believe it was midnight is when they would turn off.
Okay,
So.
very good. Any other items on the bridge? No of? Highway 47 Corridor Committee? Tim, please.
Thanks. We had a meeting scheduled for last week, and unfortunately, it was last week, Thursday at 2 p.m. Snowmageddon Part 2 hit, and we had to postpone it, so we're going to meet, I think, next week, Jim, April 10th? Yeah, March 10th. Yeah, March 10th, so at 2 o'clock. And so we got that notice out to the meeting members and the committee members, and we'll be getting together. We got a lot of incredible information that we get to disseminate, so it's promising.
Very good. Thank you, Jim. Franklin County Transportation Committee, John?
We've not met since our last meeting.
That's, yeah, that's,
But what's in the minutes is what we discussed the last.
Got it, thank you. Warren County Causeway, I guess, is the big item. Eric?
Yeah, I don't have any new updates on the causeway. The STIP will come out in May for draft review for everybody, so that'd be a time to take a look at it. The only other thing I'd like to mention is today's my last meeting here at Washington. I'm retiring toward the end of next month. So my replacement is Jeff Niemeyer, and I'll make sure he gets all the information so he can attend these meetings as well. And I just want to appreciate the opportunity to be part of this. I think you guys are doing a great job, a model for other communities to see how to move transportation forward, and it's just, it's been a blessing to be down here.
Well, don't stay away. You can still come around.
I'm moving to Minnesota. I grew
Oh,
up
are you
there,
really?
and
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna be heading
Wow.
back that way.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, to lose you. I think
So, thank you.
Thank you. You betcha. Anything else, you guys, anything we can talk about on the causeway? I think it's, we brought it up enough now that I think it's gonna have hopefully it'll take on its own life and people will realize. I did read that, the Hoffmans, wanna start coming to this meeting. They mentioned the Highway Transportation Committee is getting involved, and because they think that Augusta Bottom Road is the answer, and well, we've been there and done that. So I think I'll try to make a contact with them or anybody that knows who they are, and just so they don't spin their wheels like we had to do to get to where we're at on Augusta Bottom Road. We have to work towards the causeway idea is what my opinion is. I mean, it's the only way we're gonna get anything taken care of there. So maybe they can bring something to the table, some efforts or whatever to help improve the road between Augusta and Washington. And the causeway is really the answer. So, anyway.
I agree.
Or wait for the river to come up, I mean, whichever, one of the two. There'll be attention drawn to it sooner or later, I mean.
Yep.
But I don't know what else we can do other than just keep it in front of the public and make sure that every time we have a chance to talk to somebody that that's a need that for roads in Washington and the other side, we have to get something or wait for the river to do it. The river will create the problems, and that's not a way to do stuff. You have to get ahead of it. But just on the other side of the river, guys, you're gonna have to help us, Joe, and whatever, when everything comes up, let us know, discussions or whatever. I think MoDOT's aware of it, of the need, and we'll take it from there. So, any other comments? Hearing none. Special Road District. Ed's not here.
No, I could just give an update on a couple city projects that coordination with the Special Road District. As you're aware, the city is working to construct a 1 million-gallon water tank at North Goods Mill and South Point Road. We actually are going to be extending that water line to that site from the Stonecrest subdivision. The city will. There's a tree there in the middle of that lot that's going to start getting, come down. We're going to try to get the water line stubbed underneath the roadway because I do believe the Special Road District is going to pave South Point later this spring. So we're trying to get out ahead of them. That way we don't have to cut new pavement. I think it kind of makes sense. So just an update on some coordination with them.
Any comments, questions, additions? Old Highway 100 Bridge?
Yeah, we met, the city, Franklin County and MoDOT actually met, I think Special Road District was there as well, after last meetings to discuss if there's anything we could do to speed up the replacement of that bridge. I believe it's on 26 is the schedule for MoDOT to replace it. Once they replace it, I would imagine it would get transferred over to the other entities. But, so we discussed it, was there any kind of strategy to where we could speed that up a little bit? I think the discussions are kind of ongoing. There was some scoping things, bikeway on the side of it, which I think, we discussed was maybe a wise thing. And there were some cost estimates that were kind of getting thrown around. So we're working through those details. I don't know if we're going to be able to get the terms to speed that thing up or not, but the conversation is moving forward, and we do have 26 as MoDOT's deadline, which at least we know that.
John, I don't know where I heard it or if I heard it correctly, but was there discussion about the weight limits in school buses and fire trucks?
There was, I mean, I don't know what it is posted right now, the weight limit on the bridge, I can't remember.
16,000, I think.
16.
16 tons, I'm sorry.
16 tons, standard class B or C school bus that is typical on the roads today is about 14 max load. So it's absolutely sound enough for that traffic. You can't have two of them on the same time, which is very rare anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is it's sufficient currently for that, but it's not going to be. And it's, you know, with being on 2026,
Yeah, exactly.
we're firing hoops to push it up or not.
Right,
And you get creative on financing to bump it up.
yeah. And fire trucks, I guess, the same way. Did I hear that they were asked to go down the middle of the bridge and not towards the sides?
That is correct. They were asked to travel the center of the bridge instead of the outer edges, yes.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, we have to do that on a bridge that's being utilized, that the buses and fire trucks have to go down the center because the bridge isn't sound enough to take it on either side, so.
Do we expect that bridge to last till 2026? I mean, it seems reasonable. I've heard of some others around the state say, hey, we got to close this, you know, before it's
is it?
funded.
There's no talk on closing.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Talk about finance and estimates. Do you have any kind of rough estimate?
Our engineer's estimate at this point is 3.3 million. MoDOT's estimate just for the bridge was in the neighborhood of 1.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Our estimate was current. MoDOT's estimate was, 8 or 9 months old. So there is a little inflation in there because of that. Our estimate included the sidewalks, bikeways, things like that. So there was some issues that MoDOT did not take into account.
Thanks, Jim.
There were some issues that MoDOT did not take into account, and that's perfectly fine, but we just have to come to a meeting of the minds as to where we're going forward with that. If indeed it makes sense to include those sort of things, does MoDOT pay for that? Does the county or city or special road district? And ultimately, when MoDOT does finalize this and it's completely paid for, who takes ownership? Is it in the city? Is it in the special road district? Is it in the county? There's quite a bit going on in that direction. So is the city annexing out that way on Old 100? Does the city take it over? Those are questions that need to be answered. So,
There's some other items there as well, as far as utilities in the future,
yeah.
sewer line, that direction potentially hanging off. You know, there's just a lot of scoping issues that we have to work through. And I think we are working through those. It's just that was that first meeting was bullet point identify what they are. And that way we can at least move forward as collectively as a group.
Right, and the estimate from MoDOT was, even though it was lower than ours, if you take into context what that included, we weren't that far apart.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Our estimate included approaches going out 800 feet in each direction. MoDOT's did not.
Yeah.
So those sort of things have to be taken into account.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about ownership now. Did we ever figure out who does own it now?
MoDOT owns it.
MoDOT owns
MoDOT
the
owns it.
Okay.
bridge.
And
But we do want to turn it over once the new bridge is in place.
Yes, absolutely.
To
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
would
If
it,
there's no
would
more
it, would it be reasonable to think that that would be the city? Or to, its city limits stop?
Are our city limits on the west side?
Yeah. That's good as it gets.
How far does the city limits go out that way?
That's good.
Center line of the creek.
Very good. Thank you.
The center line of the creek is the city limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
City limits is center line of
Yeah,
Dubois.
yeah. Anything else on that old bridge? Yeah. Not hearing anything at the airport. Anything new at the airport?
Yeah, our two major projects, the fuel truck and the hangars. First off, fuel truck, We were hoping to take delivery of that truck last week. That did not happen. It's still finalizing production in Kansas City. Once we get the okay that the truck is available, the city will send a freight truck up there to go pick it up. It can only drive 45 miles per hour, so we're going to run up and grab it. It'll be operational as soon as we get it. The airport is, I believe, notamed for no fuel. Our fuel truck had a seal go out on the pump about 3 weeks ago for jet fuel, and I know Kevin was working on that. I did not get an update that he had that fixed, but if we were to take it somewhere, it was going to be about a $3,000 to $5,000 item. We were hoping that we didn't have this, this period would be small, and we're still hopeful that we get this truck here pretty soon. So more to come on that. The hangars are still on standby. Plans are ready to go to bid it. We have an airport board meeting on Wednesday of this week that maybe we make some decisions on what we should do. I don't know. Anyone's guess of what these bids could come in at. I mean, there's not much I can really add to that. And I think Commissioner Brinker actually brought up looking at some additional transportation funds. I have not done that yet, but that is on my list of things to do. So thank you for that.
Very good. Any other comments, questions on the airport? Hearing none. Team Track?
No report.
East-West Parkway? Anything new?
That actually has some movement. So the High Street extension, which is part of that East-West Parkway, there was a request for annexation that came through to Planning and Zoning City Council at the last meeting. It would actually then extend High Street to the Marquardt Farm, and then the proposal would be to connect Sophia Drive, which is the Autumn Leaf subdivision, to High Street. That's a pretty big deal. A lot of the traffic that we see, or that we anticipate we see up on Highway A, some of the delays are actually coming out of that Autumn Leaf subdivision. So it'll give those individuals, those residents, a second way in and out of their subdivision, maybe a more efficient way. Obviously, that's to their discretion. We feel that High Street also would be access controlled to some level, to where we would not allow driveways, residential driveways directly off of it, which is something that the city has really never looked at in the past, which is a positive. It's important that we control access on High Street as it moves, or even East-West Parkway, as it moves around the city, that we don't have driveways like you see on Rabbit Trail, for example. So that's a pretty big deal. Another thing to bring up, when the Casey's development was constructed, we worked with them on their access, their full access off of High Street. There was money put in escrow to put in a right-in, right-out, should one be warranted. Again, it goes back to that access control. When I say should one be warranted, we could not install that within 3 years of their occupancy. So I have to go back and look when it opened. I'm sure we're approaching that 3 years. The idea there was there wasn't a lot of development on High Street at the time. Why would you restrict their access now, wait till the problem kind of starts to show itself? Is it going to show itself now? We don't know. However, we have the ability to put that right in, right out whenever we so choose. So things kind of, all those planning things are kind of coming to fruition a little bit. Like I said, High Street will be extended to the Marquardt Farm, will be barricaded off. I don't think there's anything else to add to that. So positive stuff there.
Very good, very good. Some growth happening. Public transportation? I don't know that there's anything new.
No, we still don't have anyone. We can work, I know you reach out to, I know Gina reaches out to our contacts, but
Yes.
We'll see if we can drum up a little bit of interest.
This could be a record meeting. We're out of here in 20 minutes. Anything, Joe, Commissioner, from your side that needs to be brought up?
Not really. We're working on not closing Highway TT continually on bad weather, but
Yeah, that's tough.
we're working on it.
Very good,
Trying.
yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
Not to prolong this meeting, but information to share is always valuable when it applies to committees such as this. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for a National Association of Counties Conference. Commissioner Hinson and I attended, and hundreds of county commissioners and county executives throughout the nation. In that meeting, we were exposed to a document that was drafted by our National Association of Counties, and what it consists of is the grant monies afforded counties throughout the nation and entities throughout this nation through the infrastructure bill. It includes what agency sponsors the grants, what the program is, the funding level, type of funding, the description, how counties can access these dollars, special eligibility requirements, and the federal cost share. I've got this document. I will forward it to this membership, and it really gives great guidance for entities such as Franklin County and other neighboring counties with which to pursue these dollars and resources. The issue we're coming up with, of course, is that everybody and their brother are going to be pursuing these things. It's very competitive, but there's a lot out there. Billions and billions of dollars, no pun intended. But the fact of the matter is it really presents a glaring absence of, I think, abilities and positions at our county level that we're working on currently, and that is in turn of a grant writer and an economic development director perspective. We're looking into that and establishing those through the funding we have available, at least for potentially a 5-year period, with which to impose those entities in our organization. Now, this has not passed by any means the commission level, but it is the desire of Tim Brinker, presiding commissioner, and I think I've got the interest of a lot of folks involved. You know, the grant dollars that are out there, they are available for our highway interests, 47, 50, Causeway, you name it. I mean, the dollars are indeed available via that infrastructure bill. If we don't utilize them or try to apply for them, somebody else will, and they'll go to some other agency / big city that supports the federal administration currently. So it's pursuit of things like this. I was talking to people about a port authority. You know, our entire northern border along Franklin County is the Missouri River. With the new port going into Jefferson County on the Mississippi, that's going to enhance those opportunities for grain, and transportation in that method, the first highway, that river. And also airport funds. You know, John made mention of it earlier, but there are literally billions out there for airports such as ours, our Washington Regional Airport, that we can apply for also. Railways. Right now they said they've got enough money to take care of all the low water crossings. We have a lot of them in Franklin County. When water comes up, we send men and ladies out to barricade roads because they close down because of water. Well, Department of Conservation is determined, and USDA, and what's the other federal agency for fish and wildlife? But anyway, they're proposing that we eliminate all low water crossings because it helps habitat, helps fish traverse upstream further when those things can become a blockade. So I guess what I'm here saying is there is a lot out there, and we are going to try our best to get it, and I will present it to this group and more as we further the process. But it's encouraging and enlightening. I spoke to Senator Hawley last week. I spoke to Senator Blunt and his team the week before, or was it last? In Jefferson City. But that being said, we have the favor of everybody upstream from us, and when we have that in place, it is time, we all full well know, to take advantage of that. So that's what I got today. I wanted to bring it to you, and I will email that to everybody on the committee and make it public, or more public than it has been disseminated thus far. So it's exciting and scary and anxious all at the same time, so it's good.
Yes. Tim, most of this money is from the government. Is that match money where we have to match it?
There are some that are full 100%, there are some at 80%, or some 50-50. It's all over the board, depending on the agency.
Yeah.
Be it Department of Interior, be it, transportation, what have you. It's everywhere. And believe you me, there are ridiculous dollars out there.
Yes,
ridiculous agencies that are getting these dollars. So we got to just either fight that or swallow that pill while we focus on the true needs of the people, So.
Well, I think we could be in a good spot with the work that's being done on Highway 47. because this is an old problem that's getting worse.
Absolutely.
And it's been studied, and things have been looked at. It's a question of, always was, where's the money gonna come from? And right now, in the county, it's happening, you know, with what's happening in Union and the highways. But these are opportunities that don't come along.
No,
This
there's,
is how we
there's
got
never been
100.
this kind of
This is how
funding
we
in the
got
history of
new
this
bridge.
nation.
These
ever.
are opportunities that we have to take
And
advantage of.
it's so very important to make sure that we plug it in the best way possible for future needs, because we'll be paying for it for a long time.
Very good.
All right,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to the information. Anything else? Any other business? I'll now note that the tax receipts are coming in, sales to half-cent transportation sales tax. Year-to-date is up 10%, 10.37%. That's fantastic. That's a sign of the vitality of the citizens of Washington, in the city of Washington, because that's a direct reflection of sales. That's great.
Thought it'd be more of that.
Darren, you should be smiling too, so.
Was inflation.
It is important.
Your job is.
Yeah, so it just,
I don't have anything else. If anybody has anything to bring forward,
you know what I mean?
we'll talk about it. Anybody? Here's your time. Here's your chance. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Anybody? Second? All in favor, aye. Aye. Thank you all. It's good not to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, just keeping track of what's moving.
Yeah.